Good afternoon. Fast Eddie goes to the Philippines. Little glitch there, but I think I got it worked out. Hey, one of the things I get asked uh, when people find out we are moving to the Philippines is, do you speak the language? And the answer is no, I do not. Now, my wife does. Lolita speaks, both Tagalog, Visayan, and English. The language spoken in the Visayas, at least in Bohol, is Cebuano. But they learn Tagalog in school, and they also learn English. And she also lived in Manila for a while, so she learned it there. So those are two pretty common languages. In the Philippines Constitution, it says that Tagalog is the national language and English is the official language of business. So most people speak English there. They learn it in school. And most of your documents are all in English. Your legal documents are in English. Your visa stuff, your titles for your lands, your home purchases, that kind of stuff. It's all in English. So it's pretty easy to get along if you go to the Philippines and don't know the language. I mean, I know a few phrases, a few words, but I've never really had a problem communicating with anybody when I'm in the Philippines. There's a bunch of, I guess there's like 8 language regions in the Philippines. And in those regions, there are up to 180 different languages, if you will. All sorts of different dialects they speak. Ilocano is another one. A couple of Lolita's friends speak that. I am told that there's places where they speak Spanish. There's also in Mindanao and in the southern Philippines, there's islands with large Muslim population, and they speak Arabic. They're actually even teaching Arabic in the schools in Mindanao. I was reading that. So there's lots of different languages in the Philippines. So even if you knew, I mean, there's sometimes where we've gone somewhere or, we've done something and somebody is speaking a different language. I know in Negros, we were over there and there was a lady who was speaking something and Lolita couldn't even understand what she was saying because the dialect was different. So, but for the most part, everywhere you go, they speak English. It's kind of interesting when we go for our morning walks around the house there when we've been vacationing there in the Philippines. The kids, the little kids, they'll speak to you. They'll say, "Hello, Joe." They always call the Americans or any of the foreigners that are white, anyways, call us Joe. And if you say hello back to them, they kind of get a kick out of that because I guess they realize, oh wow, I guess what they're teaching me works. And so that's good. I think a lot of the Filipinos, particularly as they get older, they're kind of embarrassed to try to speak English. The kids, I know a lot of Lolita's nieces and nephews, very, very good in English. And they've never had any problem speaking it to me. The Filipinos call it the nosebleed language. Because it hurts their nose when they, the trying to pronunciate the words. If I had to pick a language that I had to learn in the Philippines, I guess it probably would be Tagalog. It seems to be more of an English-based language, if you will. I mean, when I look at the written Visayan, there's like 16 vowels in every word, it seems like. But Tagalog is kind of more of a 1 or 2 vowels per word. But that's just the way it is, I guess. So you can go to the Philippines and not speak the language and you'll be fine. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. The only, it's just not that big of an issue. I can tell you that I did learn in Visaya called Hu Yu Hoi. My sister-in-law Greece, she taught me that word Hu Yu Hoi. It means breezy, windy, breezy. And so I come back to the States, and one of the workers, one of my physical therapists, Miss Manding, she's from Cebu, she speaks Visayan, and I went down to her clinic, and it was windy outside, and I said, "Oh, look, Hu Yu Hoi." And she looked at me like, well, "What the hell are you saying?" And I said, "Hu Yu Hoi, breezy, breezy." She started laughing. And I said, "What?" And she says, "That's an old person word." So even if and so then I said to Kay, I said, well, what do you say when it's breezy? She says we say breezy. And so there's a big mix even with the Visaya, and even in Tagalog, they use a lot of English in there. So kind of like we have a Spanglish here in the States, where the Spanish and the English is mixed. The same thing goes on in the Philippines. So they mix the English language with their native language, and you go from there. Um, so going to the Philippines, not speaking the language is not that big of an issue. I mean, I've never seen anybody do a video on it where they talked about they had problems because they didn't speak the language. Um, I mean, it might be nice to know it, but frankly, if I don't know it, I really don't see it's going to be that big of a disadvantage. So, that to answer your question, no, I do not speak the language. But thank you for asking. And till next time, have a good day. Thanks.